3 days ago, Ashley Flynn was murdered in her Tip City home. Tonight, police announced that they have made an arrest in connection to her death.
Police said this evening that Ashley's husband, 39-year-old Caleb Flynn, is in jail and charged in connection with her murder. Caleb Flynn is charged with 1 count of homicide, 2 counts of felonious assault, and 2 counts of tampering with evidence.
37-year-old Ashley Flynn was found dead in her home early on Monday morning. Originally, police called it a burglary gone wrong, but it was later determined her death was a targeted attack. The whole story has captured the attention of people not just in Tip City, but across the Miami Valley. 2 News reporter Kirsten Reedford is live in Tip City. Kirsten, what are people there seeing tonight?
Jack, Lauren, the community is devastated over tonight's news. People that I spoke with said their main concern now is for the 2 daughters and how they're doing in the aftermath of this.
I'm also heartbroken for the daughters because the daughters didn't just lose a mom, now they've lost a dad too.
Somebody broke in my home and shot my wife.
Are they still in there?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, what's the address?
932 Cunningham Court, Tip City, Ohio. Please hurry. Please hurry.
What are you seeing?
My wife she's got 2 shots to her head. There's blood everywhere. Oh my God. Sir, please.
Ma'am, I need you to take a deep breath, okay? Do you still see anybody in the house?
No, the door to the garage was wide open. Please hurry, please. Oh my God.
Tip City, Ohio. February 16, 2026. Husband calls 911. He says someone broke into the house. He says his wife has been shot. Her name was Ashley Flynn. She was 37 years old. And the man who made that call, her husband Caleb Flynn, now sits in jail charged with her murder. The arrest made the news. The charges made the news. But there are things the news never had time to explain. Who Ashley Flynn actually was. Who Caleb Flynn really was behind the life they built together. And what criminal psychology tells us about how a man who stood at the front of a church every Sunday, a man who once publicly declared his love for his wife on national television, allegedly came to do what prosecutors say happened in the early hours of that morning. That's what this video is about. Not the headline. What's underneath it? That news clip is how the world first heard about the case. 30 seconds. Name. Location. A suspect in custody. Then the broadcast moved on. But Ashley Flynn's life was never a 30-second story. And what happened inside that house on Cunningham Court deserves more than a headline. So let's start at the beginning.
Time again, you just hear about how much she loved Jesus and how much she loved people and how she made you feel just important and noticed, and just time and time again, people are like, she was just the best of our community. I even heard somebody the other day saying, if more people lived like Ashley, this community and this world would be a better place.
To understand what happened on Cunningham Court, you have to understand who Ashley Flynn was. Not as a victim, as a person. Because the details of her life, the choices she made, the community she built, the way people describe her, they matter. They're the baseline. The thing you measure everything else against once the story starts to unravel. Ashley Elizabeth Flynn was born on February 24, 1988, in the Tip City area of Ohio. She graduated from Tippecanoe High School in 2006, and 4 years later earned her degree from Lee University, a private Christian college in Cleveland, Tennessee. She came home after graduation and never really left. Not because she had to. Because Tip City was where her life was. Where her people were. She went to work in the school system. First as a full-time elementary teacher. Later as a substitute. At Tippecanoe Middle School, she coached the 7th grade girls volleyball team. And by every account, she was exactly the kind of coach you remember. Not the one who drilled technique. The one who made you believe you were capable of more than you thought. Parents noticed. Kids noticed. In the year before her death, Ashley had taken on a new role at LifeWise Academy, a non-profit that brings scripture-based education to students during school hours, off campus. She taught weekly lessons there, quietly, without fanfare. It wasn't a career move. It was just something she believed in. Her church, Christian Life Center in Dayton, was another constant. She didn't just attend. She volunteered. She held staff roles. She showed up consistently for years, in the way that only someone genuinely committed to something does. And then there was home. On Cunningham Court, Ashley and Caleb were raising 2 young daughters. Neighbors described the Flynns as warm, active, present. The kind of family you actually see. Out in the yard, shooting hoops in the driveway, walking their 2 golden doodles through the neighborhood. At Christmas, Ashley and the girls would bake cookies and deliver them door to door. Small gestures, but people remember them. When news of her death broke on February 16th, Tip City didn't just mourn quietly. The community responded the same way Ashley had always shown up for it. Visibly, collectively, and with faith at the center. LifeWise Academy held a prayer vigil that same afternoon. Red and white ribbons appeared along Main Street. Her church opened its doors. Tip City Schools posted a tribute that said, simply, she was known for her beautiful smile, warmth, kindness, and the positive impact she had on so many, both in and out of the classroom and on the court. 37 years old, 2 daughters, a community that is still, in the most literal sense, tied to her memory. That's who Ashley Flynn was. And that matters because what comes next is going to ask you to hold 2 things at once. The weight of who she was, and the darkness of how she died. If you're still watching, you already know this channel is different. Cases like this don't begin with violence. They begin with patterns, warning signs, escalation. The behavior hiding in plain sight that no headline ever stops to explain. DreadPsychology exists for exactly that reason. We don't just tell stories. We examine the behavior behind them. So if that's what you're looking for, subscribe, turn on notifications, and let's keep looking beneath the surface.
How's it going, church? Pastor Caleb here. Hope you're having a fantastic week. Wanted to take a moment just to remind you that this weekend is the finale of our At the Movies series. We've had an incredible 2 weeks, but we have saved the best for last. And so I want to encourage you, invite your friends, invite your family. We've got a seat saved just for you. And so again, join us for the finale this weekend of our At the Movies series. And then also this weekend, you can bring in your backpacks for our backpack drive. We've got these packing lists that you can pick up at the welcome desk. And so let's fill that crate full of backpacks with those supplies for some kids and families who may not be able to get those supplies before school starts. And so you can bring in those backpacks starting this Sunday. And of course, never miss any Sunday, but definitely not in August. We've got some exciting things coming up that we're going to be announcing here soon. But church, we love you guys, and we'll see you this Sunday at 10 a.m.
Caleb Carl Flynn was, by every measure, a man who came from the same world as his wife. Same college, same church, same community, same faith. On paper, they were a perfect match. Caleb, 39, attended Lee University in Cleveland, Tennessee, the same college as Ashley. That's where their paths first crossed. 2 young people shaped by the same values, the same beliefs, building a life together from the ground up. After graduation, Caleb found his footing in ministry. He became a music pastor and worship leader at Christian Life Center in Dayton, the same church where Ashley volunteered and later held staff roles. He stood at the front of the congregation every Sunday, leading worship, guiding people through music and prayer. It was by all accounts a calling, not just a job. Eventually, Caleb transitioned out of ministry and into business. At the time of Ashley's death, he was working as vice president of sales for Richard D. Smith & Sons Incorporated, a family-run company that supplies commercial flooring and worship seating to churches. Even in that shift, his world stayed anchored to faith communities. But there's something else about Caleb Flynn that's worth knowing. In 2013, he auditioned for season 12 of American Idol. It was his second attempt at the show. He made it to Hollywood, further than most, before being eliminated. And during a hometown segment that aired as part of the Road to Hollywood coverage, Caleb sat down for an interview. He talked about music, about faith, about Ashley. "I absolutely love the Lord. I love my wife more than anything. She is very, very pretty. Just, oof, I love her." He said Ashley was the one who pushed him to audition, that she believed in him when he wasn't sure he believed in himself.
Caleb Flynn. I'm from Tip City, Ohio, and I love to sing, so that's why I auditioned. Maybe my wife kind of nudged me a little bit too. My first thought when I got my golden ticket, honestly, all I could do was cover my face because I cried a little bit. I'm kind of a crybaby. I get it from my mom and my dad. The person that inspires me to be an informer, I guess, would say the Lord. I'm a music pastor, and so that's my job every week, is to go up there and to sing and to connect what I do on stage to the congregation. So first and foremost, obviously, is the Lord. The thing that makes me unique, I absolutely love the Lord. I love my wife more than anything. She is very, very pretty. Just, oof, I love her.
Those words resurfaced after February 16th, and when they did, people didn't quite know what to do with them. Because here is what's true. By every visible measure, the Flynns appeared to be exactly what they presented. A devoted couple, active in their church, raising 2 daughters in a neighborhood where people knew their names and waved from their driveways. Neighbors recall seeing them together in the yard, laughing, practicing music on weekends. The kind of couple you don't look at twice because nothing about them signals anything worth looking at. That's what makes what comes next so disorienting. Not the crime itself, though that is disturbing enough, but the gap, the distance between the life that was visible and the truth that was underneath it. Caleb Flynn was the one who called 911 that morning. Caleb Flynn was the one who told dispatchers someone had broken in. Caleb Flynn was the one who said his wife had been shot. And within hours of that call, investigators would begin to wonder whether the man on the phone was a grieving husband, or the reason they were standing inside that house at all. At some point in the early hours of February 16, 2026, something happened inside the Flynn home on Cunningham Court. At 2:31 a.m., Caleb Flynn picked up his phone and called 911. The call lasts nearly 8 minutes. Caleb tells the dispatcher that someone has broken into the house, that there was an intruder, that his wife has been shot. His voice is unsteady. He sounds panicked.
Miami County, 911.
Somebody broke into my home. Somebody broke into my home and shot my wife.
Are they still in there?
I don't know.
Okay, what's the address?
932 Cunningham Court, Tip City, Ohio. Please hurry. Please hurry.
What are you seeing?
My wife she's got 2 shots to her head. There's blood everywhere. Oh my God. Sir, please.
Ma'am, I need you to take a deep breath, okay? Do you still see anybody in the house?
No, the door to the garage was wide open. Please hurry, please. Oh my God.
Minutes later, officers from the Tip City Police Department arrive at Cunningham Court. They move through the house, room by room, clearing as they go. They find Ashley Flynn in a bedroom. She has gunshot wounds. Despite the rapid response, despite everything, She is pronounced dead at the scene.
Corey?
Okay. I checked this right here, nothing else.
Okay.
Are in the bedroom over there, they're still asleep.
Okay, have you checked on them?
The 911, yes. Right now, no one else comes in here, period.
No, every door.
No one.
Okay.
Oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. Oh my God.
Okay, sit. You want to sit down?
No.
Okay. Take a breath.
Is she gone?
Look at me. Look at me. Take a breath. Okay?
I can't.
Look at me. I need you to breathe, okay?
Try not to touch much. What do I do with my daughters? What do I do with my daughters?
Right now, I need you to breathe, okay? Do you have any family that you can call? Okay, where's your phone at? Okay. Do you want to call family?
She is 37 years old. 2 little girls are asleep somewhere in that house. In those first moments, investigators are operating under a single assumption: that a violent home invasion has just taken place. The house is immediately secured as a homicide scene. The Ohio Bureau of Criminal Investigation is requested to process the evidence. At 4:28 a.m., just under 2 hours after the call, Caleb Flynn agrees to speak with police voluntarily. Officers transport him to the station for an interview. He is cooperative. He is grieving. He is the man who just lost his wife. That is the story as it stands in the early hours of February 16th. From the outside, from every angle, this looks like a tragedy. A family targeted in the night. A wife and mother taken without warning. That is what everyone believes. Now.
First name, sir? Caleb. Caleb. Like my phone and everything. I'm going to try to get everything processed with that with me. And, you know, we'll see what we can do about as far as like getting it back to you as soon as possible. But unfortunately, in the situation, it's kind of standard for us to, you know, collect everything. So if you just open your mouth and then I just put it in and I swirl it around on your cheek a couple times. Thank you, sir. Have you ever been fingerprinted before? For jobs or anything? Sometimes we do sporting events. Pretty easy process. Okay, so on these, this will be the left hand, and I'll help kind of get it in there, but it's just going to be touching down. So we're just going to get overall pictures. I'll just kind of direct you.
But detectives don't stop at first impressions. They go back to the scene. They go back to the evidence. They go back to the details Caleb gave them in that interview. And somewhere in that process, in the careful, methodical work of reconstruction, something doesn't line up. By the time investigators finished pulling the scene apart, the home invasion narrative had collapsed entirely. There was no intruder. There was no break-in. What there was, prosecutors would allege, was a staged crime scene, constructed carefully, designed to look like something it wasn't. And at the center of it, the man who made the 911 call. Here is what investigators believe happened. Caleb Flynn shot his wife, Ashley, in the head. The weapon, investigators believe, was a 9mm handgun, one that Caleb kept in the center console of his truck. After the shooting, prosecutors allege, he staged the scene, arranged it to point toward an outside attacker. Then he picked up his phone and called for help. He played the role of the panicked husband. For nearly 8 minutes he played it on tape. Charges came: murder, 2 counts of felonious assault, 2 counts of tampering with evidence. Caleb Flynn pleaded not guilty. At his bond hearing, he looked at the judge and said, "I just want to take care of my daughters. I'm not a risk." Bond was set at $2 million.
Mr. Flynn, we're going to set your case for a preliminary hearing for next week on February 26th at 1 p.m. You do have the right to have an attorney represent you. If you cannot afford one, you can apply to the public defender's office and they'll determine if you're eligible for a court-appointed attorney. Do you understand all of that?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything you'd like to say to the court with regards to a bond in this case?
I'm so sorry, you cut out there.
Is there anything you'd like to tell the court with respect to bond in this case?
I don't really understand that, so
okay.
No, sir.
So the court has to establish a bond, sir, to ensure your appearance, okay? So the court will establish a bond and you have the right to tell me, hey, I'm not a flight risk, I am a flight risk, or anything of that nature. Is there anything you would want to tell me about that?
Sir, I just want to take care of my daughters. I'm not at risk. I
understand. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Well, the court is going to order a $2 million blanket bond in this case, covering all of your charges. Should you post bond in this case, the court will order that you be on pretrial services electronically monitored house arrest.
And the community that had gathered to grieve Ashley Flynn, the ribbons on Main Street, the vigil, the church doors thrown open, now had to absorb something far harder than a random act of violence. The man who stood at the front of the congregation, the man who led worship, the man who said on national television that he loved his wife more than anything, that man was now sitting in a jail cell, charged with her murder. When a crime like this happens, the instinct is to ask one question: why? Feels like the most important question. Like if the answer could be found, the reason, the trigger, the breaking point, then somehow it makes sense. Somehow the world reorders itself back into something logical. But here's what years of criminal psychology research tells us about men who kill their intimate partners. The why is rarely one thing. It's a construction, built over time, quietly, in the space between what someone shows the world and what they actually feel. Between the person they perform and the person they are when no one is watching. And in Caleb Flynn's case, that gap was significant. In the hours leading up to Ashley's death, investigators discovered communication links between Caleb and an unidentified woman. Messages, contact, in the window of time just before that 911 call was made. A worship leader at Christian Life Center, the church where Caleb had served, where Ashley had volunteered for years, resigned shortly after Caleb's arrest. Without explanation, no one has confirmed a connection publicly. But the timing sits there, unresolved, asking its own question. If the allegations are true, if Caleb Flynn did what prosecutors say he did, then what the evidence points to is not a spontaneous act of violence. This is not a fight that escalated. This is not a moment of blind rage. This is a man who, investigators allege, shot his wife, and then staged the scene, and then called 911. And then sat in an interview with detectives for hours. And then stood in front of a judge and said he just wanted to take care of his daughters. Each one of those steps requires something. Calculation. compartmentalization, control. These are not the actions of someone who lost themselves in a moment. These are the actions of someone who, in the immediate aftermath of allegedly killing their wife, was capable of constructing a narrative and inhabiting it convincingly enough to buy time. That is not passion. That is not grief miscalculated. That is something colder. Psychologists who study intimate partner homicide consistently identify a cluster of risk factors that appear across cases with striking regularity. A partner who is planning to leave, or who the perpetrator fears is pulling away. A sense of ownership over the victim. Not love in the traditional sense, but possession. The belief that if she leaves, everything built around her, the image, the reputation, the life, disappears with her. The performance of devotion as a form of control. Think about that American Idol interview. Caleb Flynn, on national television, declaring his love for Ashley in terms that were almost performative in their intensity. "I love my wife more than anything. She is very, very pretty. Just, oof, I love her." At the time, it read as charming, genuine, the kind of thing that makes an audience smile. Now, knowing what we know, it reads differently. Because one of the consistent findings in research on intimate partner violence is that public declarations of devotion, especially ones that center the speaker's feelings rather than the partner's personhood, can sometimes function as a form of display. A signal to the world and to the partner about ownership. That reframing isn't a certainty. It's a lens, but it's a lens worth holding up. There's something else worth examining. Caleb Flynn spent years in ministry, leading worship, standing at the front of the congregation, being seen as a spiritual authority, a moral center, a man of faith. Research on what's sometimes called the moral licensing effect suggests that people who see themselves as fundamentally good, whose identity is built around virtue, service, faith, are sometimes paradoxically more capable of rationalizing harmful behavior. Not because faith makes people dangerous, but because a rock-solid self-image as a good person can become a buffer against accountability. If someone is, at their core, a man of God, then what they did must have had reasons, must have been justified, must be something that can be managed through. That might explain the composure interview, the bond hearing, or it might explain nothing at all. Because the truth is, this case is still moving through the courts. Caleb Flynn has pleaded not guilty. The full picture has not yet been presented. What exists are allegations, evidence, a timeline that investigators say tells one story, and a defendant who says it tells another. But here is what is not in dispute. Ashley Flynn is gone. Her daughters are growing up without their mother. And the man charged with her murder is the same man who stood in front of a camera more than a decade ago and told the world she was the most important thing in his life. There's a version of this story that's easy to tell. A man with a secret. A wife who didn't know. A community that was fooled. A crime that was almost hidden behind a carefully constructed scene and an 8-minute phone call. That version is satisfying in a way. Has a shape. A beginning, a middle, and an end that makes sense. But that version isn't entirely honest. Because what this case really asks us to sit with, what it refuses to let anyone look away from, is something more uncomfortable than a simple story of deception. It asks us to reckon with how little anyone can know about what happens inside a marriage. The people who knew the Flynns didn't see this coming. Not the neighbors who waved from their driveways. Not the congregation Caleb led in worship every Sunday. Not the parents who watched Ashley coach their daughters on a volleyball court. Not the colleagues who worked alongside her at LifeWise Academy. everyone who intersected with that family saw the same thing. A devoted couple, faith-filled home, a life built on the right foundations. And if the allegations are true, if Caleb Flynn did what prosecutors say he did, then every single one of those people was looking at a performance. Not a brief one, not a slip, a sustained, years-long performance of a life. That is the part that is genuinely hard to process. Because here is the question that cases like this always eventually surface. How do you protect yourself from something you can't see? The warning signs that researchers point to: isolation, control, a partner who seems too perfect in public. They can be invisible from the outside. Sometimes they're invisible to the person living inside them. Ashley Flynn, by every account, was a woman who poured herself into her community, her church, her students, her daughters, the people around her. Was she happy? Was she struggling? Was there something beneath the surface of that life that no one knew about? The answer to that may never fully be known. And that uncertainty, that gap in what anyone can ever fully know about another person's private reality, is one of the most quietly devastating things about cases like this. On the morning of February 16, 2026, two little girls woke up in a world without their mother. They had been asleep down the hall. They didn't hear anything. They didn't know anything. And then, in the way that children experience catastrophic loss, all at once, without preparation, their lives changed completely. Whatever happens in that courtroom, whatever the jury decides, whatever version of the truth eventually becomes the official record, those girls will carry this. Not the legal verdict, not the headlines, not the analysis of what their father may or may not have done, just the absence, every day, in ways that don't have names. Ashley Flynn was a teacher who made students feel capable of more than they thought. She was a coach who showed up every practice, every game. She was a woman who baked Christmas cookies with her daughters and delivered them to her neighbors because that's just who she was. She was 8 days away from her 38th birthday. She deserves to be remembered as more than the victim in this story. She deserves to be remembered as the person she actually was. Warm, faithful, present, gone at 37. This case is still moving through the courts. When it does, this channel will be here. Subscribe so you don't miss what comes next. But before this ends, take a second. Not for the case, not for the psychology, not for the analysis, for Ashley. Because at the center of all of this, beneath the staged crime scene, the charges, the courtroom proceedings, the questions that may never fully be answered, there is just a woman who deserved to come home.